Now, as part of our major massive super overhaul, one of the things that I want to address while the drivetrain is out is the undercoating that I have. This bed liner, Monster liner, it works really well for keeping the water in or out, or protecting the floors and keeping them from rusting out, which is awesome. But it's not much of an insulator. And when you take the carpet out, you realize real quick where the hot spots are in your floors. Mine, since I have an automatic trans, the trans tunnel gets extremely toasty. After a long drive, you'll see I've seen up to about 155 degrees on the trans tunnel. And that's, surface temperature, so you don't exactly want to be resting your foot on that or anything. And, after a while, it just radiates on your leg and sucks. So, I found a couple products that I was looking into. One was Al's H&R for heat and noise reduction liner. It's about 40 bucks a gallon. But the only problem is it has to be top coated with something to keep it protected. And I was just looking for something that I could just spray and forget about. So I'm going to be using a Lizard Skins insulation coating or whatever, the ceramic thermal insulator. I'm not going to worry about the sound control because where I'm trying to spray this, I don't care too much about sound. It's okay if I hear the transmission a little bit. But as you can see, the transmission, transfer case, drive shafts, and just about everything else is out of the way. So we can see a clear shot of the entire trans tunnel all the way back. So I'm not going to go anywhere past the rear seats because it's not worth it to me. I don't really care about heat reduction at that part. I'm also going to spray on the firewall a little bit to see if that doesn't help with rising interior temperatures when you're running. So since the engine's out, that'll be real easy. I just plan on getting this little center section here, nothing too crazy. Because after that, you can't really get to it, and this, that, and the other thing. So first, we got to clean everything up. So I got a power washer over there. I'm gonna see if I can't clean everything up and make it look all nice. For primed and painted surfaces, we'll just have to scuff the surface, make sure that there's some mechanical adhesion. But it should be pretty simple. We do have to spray it, and I have a sprayer. I have no idea if it's going to work. I'm not going to pay 60 bucks or 70 or 80 for their super pro bullshit kit. So, yeah, we'll see if we can do this on the cheap. But I'm going to clean up the bottom side, top-wise.
Say hello to my little friend.
Okay, so now the fun part of grinding everything down so it's a lot cleaner. No more loose materials or dirt or any bullshit such as that. Oh, fuck. So once we grind all this down and make it all pretty, well, you can start spraying some paint. So after a lot of wire wheeling, scrubbing and sanding and other bullshit, we now have something that looks like this. A lot less crap. And as you can tell, that's the difference right there. It's not really worth going any farther back. This is the main area I'm worried about, is just the trans tunnel. So I'm going to clean it with some MEK, and then I'm going to put some self-etching primer on the bare metal surfaces, because that's what they recommend, is that you have the bare metal primed. So I'm going to let that do its little business, and then we'll come back hopefully in an hour and get ready to paint the real deal. Man, you'd be surprised how much stuff this MEK takes off. There was quite a lot of junk, and now it looks much cleaner. So I sprayed some of the areas that were bare metal with the self-etch. So we're gonna let that dry for half an hour. I think that's what it says on the bottle. That's when you can start sanding it. So until then, I guess we'll start getting the other crap ready for mixing and spraying and painting and whatnot. So here's the gallon of Lizard Skins ceramic insulator. And this is what it looks like. Pretty thick looking stuff. Interesting. Let's see if I can get all this stuff out the bucket. Alright, now I'm going to give you a quick tip, real quick. Obviously, you won't be able to spray your lizard skin out of a regular paint gun. Believe me, I've tried. All you're going to do is sit there and try and clean it out for half an hour because the nozzle keeps clogging. And it ain't going to spray crap. So we got ourselves a proper shuts gun or undercoating gun, whatever you like to call it. It's got a big old hole in it. And this is siphon fed. So, yeah. You can buy one off Amazon, 15 bucks without the can, or 30 bucks with it. I figured, you know, you might as well get the can so you can put a little bit in at a time. But if you want, you can just hook a hose into the bottom of this and stick it in the bucket and just spray the whole bucket at once. But I figure the can will be easier to pick up and move and whatnot. So, yeah, we'll try this guy out. Well, I feel like a big dummy. I forgot to turn my camera on. Oh well. So, the second you're done spraying, you're going to put everything in the water as soon as possible. That way it dissolves and doesn't, you know, harden on your stuff. Second tip for the gun that I'm using, you definitely need to water it down. I added just a little tiny bit and mixed it around, and it was doing meh. Not really anything good. But you can see those giant speckles. They were just kind of dribbling out all over the place. You get a real fine mist, and then you'd also get the dribbly big stuff. So I did one side, then I had to wait for the compressor to catch up, then flipped over, did the other side. And it seemed like it was drying almost instantly. I mean, you know, you didn't have a whole lot of time to work with it. And it was bouncing off and going all over the place and stuff. So I figured for the last little bit, I filled that bucket up, and then I spritzed a little more water into it for the firewall portion here. And this stuff, you'll notice, is a lot smoother. It looks a lot more like Monster Liner, but it's definitely going to take a lot longer to dry because of how much water I added. But you can see it's more of a purple instead of a black. I think it turns black when it's dry. The test they say to use is you take your thumb, stick it on there, rotate it 90 degrees, and if nothing's on your thumb, then it's ready for a round 2. So we'll let that dry. And yeah, I'll see if I can actually get the damn camera set up for spray number 2. A little bit of water for taste. There we go, that should spray a whole lot better. Okay, so when she's all done, unscrew our finger dinger. A little bit of stuff left, but won't suck anything else up. And then we'll hook it up to the air source and spray that out. Okay, so I did a light shitty coat because I didn't know how much had to be diluted, and then the second coat was diluted, kind of medium, and the third one was medium to thick. So this is what we're working with here. So that's what it looks like. It's not dry yet, but that's a third coat. The second and third coats were wetter, so they laid a lot smoother, flatter, and obviously wetter. So that it wasn't drying like practically on contact. It looks a little bit like Mazda liner with when it's wet and diluted. But that's pretty much it. So I got all the important parts. I got where the exhaust was going to sit, and I got the trans tunnel, and then I got that part of the firewall. This area right here, I was getting a lot of heat for some reason. I don't know why, but that was like a solid 150 degrees after driving for a while. So I wanted to really focus on this area. I didn't really care about the rest because there's not really a lot of heat going back there or anything. So, you know, if I want to finish the rest of this stuff, I'll have to find some other kind of undercoating. Maybe I'll do the sound control for the outside. Which reminds me, if you're going to do the sound control on the lizard skin, you have to do the sound control first. That has to go down, then you have to let it dry for a day, and then you can do the lizard skin. And this takes about 24 hours to fully cure. And after that, you're good to go. So that's what 1 gallon will get you. Pretty fair amount, I'd have to say. I guess that's worth 80 bucks. Okay, so now, since the lizard skin went pretty well, I'm going to do some sound control. If you're going to do the sound control over your entire project, it has to go down first. It's got to be the first part on the metal because it helps dampen everything and, you know, keep it from being so tingy. Some of these panels aren't too bad. But basically what it does is it just sticks to it and it cuts down on the resonance that the metal has, so it helps, it keeps the sound from transferring through it as readily. So yeah, I'm only going to do sound control on the outside areas where the noise is, because I hear a lot of the tire roar now that I've done basically everything else. So I'm going to hit this fender well. I'm going to hit underneath on this section since I didn't, you know, paint this part. So I got all that cleaned up. I got my rock rails off, and we're going to do in here too. So cleaned it all up with a grinder, sanded it with a little Brillo pad, and cleaned it up with some MEK. So we're going to hit all the bare metal surfaces with some self-etch, and then we'll do the other side. Alright, we're all newspapered up for the most part, so everything should be protected. So now we can do our schmixing. Purple, goopy stuff. Neat. So, there it is. That's sound control. Now this side over here is the wetter side. I added a bit more water, and it does seem to spray a whole lot more readily when reduced with water. So, not too shabby. I had to be careful. A couple spots were starting to run a little, so I had to be careful how much I was putting on. They say preferred wet thickness is 20 to 24 mils wet. I don't know what this is, but I figure it's not laid on super high, so it should be about what we're looking for. But it looks nice. It's got a purple hue compared to the black of the ceramic insulator. So it's all purpley and shiny. And I tried to get into the fender up here because I figure a lot of the sound's getting into the cab there. Starting to run out though, so it's difficult to get everything covered properly. Alright, here's coat number 2. So this one's a little bit wetter, and I tried to cover all the areas that I missed before, couldn't get. So instead of starting at the, I started at the front on both ends, but I made sure I had enough when I did everything. So everybody got what they needed. So you can kind of see the difference here between the dry and the wet. So the dry stuff's not as shiny and it's darker. So I waited an hour and it wasn't quite dry, so I took a heat gun and ran it across everything for, 15 minutes or so, and it was getting a lot better. So I coated it. I probably should have waited a little longer, but it's getting close to darkness and stuff, so I'm trying to speed this little process along. It's getting there. Alright, so as you can tell, the lizard skin does pretty well. The ceramic insulator keeps the temperatures down, which is nice. It went from 150 to 130 at max, so it did lower the temperatures by about 20 degrees. And it's not super uncomfortable driving now, so it does keep things cooler, which is nice. And the sound control does seem like it makes things a little quieter. Took it on the highway. Tire roar is definitely down quite a lot. You barely even notice it now, actually. I don't know if I did notice it, so it did quite well. So the sound control, muy bien. Last time, highway radio was at 25 to 26 clicks on the volume. Now I'm sitting at somewhere between 21 and 25, so it even lowered that a little more as well. So it's very nice. Very nice. You can listen to music comfortably. The tires aren't killing your ears. It's good stuff. I like it. If you got tons of money to blow, the best way to do it would be, clean up your floors and everything, put down the sound control, then put down the ceramic insulator, and then put down Monster Liner over top of that to keep it all protected for feet travel and stuff. And then you could do the same on the other side if you wanted, if you really want to go all out. But I'm very happy with the way I did mine, where I did the sound control in the fender wells and on the outside, and the ceramic insulator on the inside where the trans tunnel was. It worked out really well, so I'm happy with it. If you're trying to keep temperatures down and keep sound down, this is the way to do it. Lizard skin, nice, very nice. So, if you've been thinking about giving lizard skin a try, hell, go for it. Not that bad. I like it. Just make sure you let it dry before a major rainstorm comes in and starts washing it away. That kind of sucks, but everything else is good. Very nice.